All right, welcome to RSG Live, our second half of our uh, Darnell's top five program that we've been doing, special program we've been doing. We did the previous one, the offense. You can go to realsportsguys.com or get on any one of our Real Sports Guys social media platforms. You have a chance to watch him break down each position on defense with the top five NFL prospects. And now, hey, we want to start with the defense because we both believe we know that some defense wins championships. But you got to be able to score some points in this day and age. You got to be able to put an offensive package together that can do something. You can move the ball. 3 yards in a cloud of dust isn't the way we can do it anymore. Yeah, you should be able to run the football, but you got to be able to be dynamic on offense. So you need players at all levels to help you do that. And so we're going to be on the offensive side of the ball. Darnell, how's it feel to kind of get that list out there just before we get started?
It's cool. It's cool. Like you said, defense wins championships, but if you have 0 points, you're not winning nothing.
You're not winning. We're not. I mean, everybody can't be that Baltimore Ravens defense or be that Chicago Bears defense. That's too hard to do today. It's too many athletes. The rules don't let you do it that way. So you got to have an offense that can help you out. And we're looking forward to be able to get in that. Yeah, much like we did yesterday with the defense. With the offense, we're gonna start up front. As I said, Jim Finks, talked about you got to be strong up the middle, and so we started on the middle and interior on the defense. We're gonna start with the interior on the offense. So talk about your top five interior offensive linemen.
My favorite. Well, I said this is my favorite, but this is what I do. I'm an O-line coach by nature. So my five is Landon Dickerson, Elijah Vera Tucker, Creed Humphrey, Wyatt Davis, and Deontay Brown. You got Landon Dickerson. He was a part of the college football's top offensive line collectively last year. He was the center. He was the shot caller of the group. If you watch him on tape, he's very physical. He's part of the best double team in college football as well with him and Deontay Brown. Both of them are going to be on my list. And if you watch, so he's my number one guy. Number two, Elijah Vera Tucker. He has the scheme versatility I talked about in the last episode that is so valuable because when you talk to O-line coaches, we like to put our best five out there. Like, I know everybody says, okay, is he a right tackle? Is he a left tackle? Can he play on the right side? But no, we train you to be able to handle yourself in these different situations. And Elijah Vera Tucker, he's a guy, he can play four different positions on the offensive line. And on top of that, he has good agility, he climbs well, and he can get to that second level. Number three, you got Creed Humphrey. He's the pivot man. He plays center for Oklahoma. He's going to be great for any zone running scheme football team because he can get out there and he's really good at turning this guy, and the way he uses his leverage is very good. And he was a pretty darn good wrestler in high school, and you can see it in this play. Number four, you got Wyatt Davis. He might not be the most nimble dude out there. That's one thing on tape that I think separates him and Elijah Vera Tucker is Tucker, he'll get to that second level a little bit better, a lot better than Wyatt Davis will. But the thing is, if Wyatt Davis puts his hands on you, it's over. Wyatt Davis is one of those guys. He like I said yesterday with the short angry
He's gonna throw you out the club.
Big angry dude. If Wyatt Davis is gonna put you on your backside if he put his hands on you. That's a fact. Deontay Brown, number five, he's the mountain. Another guy like Wyatt Davis, he might not be the quickest. He might not be the fleetest of foot, but I tell you what, if you let him put his hands on you, you're gonna have some problems. Deontay Brown and Landon Dickerson were the best double team in college football for a reason last year, and both of them is on my list.
All right, well, you got to be. I mean, so much can happen when you can control the point there in the middle, whether it's creating a pocket or just setting up play action. A lot of things that when folks are just controlling you up front, it affects flow to the football from the backside because you got to work around them piles.
Yeah.
Cats are getting pushed back. And so it just causes so much damage when you got good people on the interior. Who are some other folks you had on the interior that, that people need to pay attention to but they didn't make your list?
Let's see. We got guys like Ben Cleveland from Georgia. You got Josh Myers in there. Quinn Miners. Quinn Miners was a guy from the he's a Senior Bowl guy that really rose. You got Trey Smith, David Moore. Oh my God, David Moore. If you watch the Senior Bowl practices, just like I said about Wyatt Davis, he was doing that. He could ruin your day. Well, I'll just put it that way. David Moore put hands on you, the center out of Grambling.
So he could ruin your day, huh?
Yeah.
You let him get to where he's supposed to be. He could ruin your day, and that's something you really don't want to have happen to you at any point in this. So I like that all the way live. I got some stuff coming up here. I got all kinds of craziness happening here right now with me because I was trying to pull up my list a little bit. Okay, we'll deal with that.
Okay.
There's in the background. But we're listening to RSG Live. We got Darnell's top 5 list going, and we just went with the interior linemen. But much like I said about the edge rushers, given that they are big money cats here in the NFL, that means you got to have somebody who can handle those cats who right away cause havoc, pretty much destroy everything you got to do offensively. And so, and the fact that these cats are rushing from both sides, the old days where you just need a left tackle.
No, you need both sides today.
You need guys who can do it on both sides today, just because of the way defenses are adjusting and just looking for weak links. You just can't afford to have one. And so
I'll be trying to tell these kids, man, because a lot of you got a lot of the younger kids, they O-linemen, but they hang out with the skill players. So they got a little swag to them. They never want to play O-line. I'm like, bro, you got to realize if you a killer at tackle, you're going to get paid.
Yes.
I try to show them, I was like, do you know how much Trent Williams gets paid? Do you know how much, the upper echelon guys get paid at this position?
Yes.
Like, yo, if you running from no calling, man.
These are the big poppers in the club now.
Yeah.
You the new Biggie now. You the new Biggie now if you get it right. You the new Biggie.
Yep. So my offensive tackle goes on. Number 1, Penei Sewell. Number 2, Rashawn Slater. Number 3, Tevin Jenkins. Number 4, Christian Darrisaw. And number 5, Dylan Radins. So Penei Sewell is going to be no surprise on my list. But Penei, I'm like I talked about yesterday with the film. When we go to the pro day, Rashawn Slater tested better in pretty much every metric than Penei Sewell. But when you go back to the tape and you go back and watch it, Penei Sewell, he has this gear. I don't know where the difference was in the times, but if you watch him on film, he is so explosive off the ball. He moved he's listed at 330 pounds, but he moves like a much smaller guy. I don't. It's very rare that you see somebody that can cover so much ground so quickly. It's almost like a younger version of Trent Williams. Like I said, Trent Williams was almost like a Penei Sewell before Penei Sewell. Number 2, Rashawn Slater. He was a technician. I didn't expect him to test as well as Penei Sewell, but he really surprised me at his pro day because he ran faster. He had a quicker a 3-cone. His bench press was off the roof, and you saw that video of him front squatting. Oh my God, this dude is a all around monster. But he has questions about his arm length. People are wondering, well, are his arms too short to play tackle? Should he move to guard? But if you have those questions, I just got to point you back to the Ohio State game in 2019, where he put on some very good tape in pass blocking situations against Chase Young. So that's one of those guys who's going to be an all-pro in the league at one point. And he's shown that he can get it done against the best. So I have faith in him. Number 3, Tevin Jenkins. Like I talked about the angry dudes, Tevin Jenkins is a guy. He plays with that main street. He seems like when he puts his hands on you, when he's engages on the block with you, he wants to take you to the parking lot. And that's the guy that's the type of temperament that you get from a Tevin Jenkins. He's a guy. He does play right tackle, but like you said, in today's game, you need both sides. Number 4, Christian Beresford. He's a guy that in other years, if a Panay Sewell didn't exist, if a Rashawn Slater didn't exist, he'd be higher on this list because he does have the physical tools. I don't know if he necessarily has the same type of motor that a guy like a Tevin Jenkins or a guy like Panay Sewell has, but he has all the tools to be a very successful tackle in this league. Number 5, Dylan Radin is another Senior Bowl guy. Dylan Radin is a guy obviously I never heard of before the Senior Bowl, but when those Senior Bowl practices was happening, and you saw him go against the names that were at the Senior Bowl, he just jumped off the screen. He showed his polish and his ability to block these guys, and that just made you go back and do some research. And I think, and if you look at mock draft, a lot of people agree that Dylan Radin is going to be a riser this year.
So I mean, and that's these, and some of these guys are guys that are be expected to play right away or
Right.
and contribute right away. A lot of times when they're bringing them in, and so you're looking for people who can be ready. But one thing about the linemen is that you can find value throughout the draft, and it often happens historically. And so I know you got some people sitting outside that are this top 5 that are also formidable and that will make people happy if their team drafts them.
Yeah. And some other guys that didn't make the list, you got Liam Eichenberg, Sam Cosmi, Alex Leatherwood, Brady Christensen. There's going to be value in the second and the third round. You got guys like Robert Hainsey. You got guys like James Hudson from Cincinnati. But if you watch that Cincinnati game versus Georgia, he was holding his own against Azeez Ojulari in the first half, but he made that dumb penalty where he got himself kicked out the game. And you saw in the second half what Azeez Ojulari was able to do against his backup. So like Ojulari got a lot of hype off of killing the backup, but you saw in the first half that it was a little bit different against Hudson. So yeah, he's going to be another guy that you can get in the third round. You know what I'm saying? Like tackle, well, offensive line in general. Like I know I'm going to foreshadow a little bit from my mock draft, but don't fret. If you don't pick O-line first in your first round, because trust me, there's going to be value there later on in the draft.
And you when you said Leatherwood sounds like an offensive lineman game. It's like Leaky Black sounds like a basketball name.
Oh man,
Leaky Black is a great basketball name. Leatherwood sounds like somebody that you might not want to go up against when they say coming.
Leatherwood sounds like he played with them leather helmets. Back when YA Fiddle when they was playing.
All right, you watching RSG live. We are Darnell's top 5 list, and we've given you the offensive linemen. We're giving we started with the interior. We went to the tackles and everything else, and so now we're about to hit with the running backs. I call them the lost tapes because forgot about the importance of running. We've devalued so much. It just feels like when growing up, the running back was it. You saw, the running backs coming out. And if they won the Heisman Trophy, you just knew, okay, it's going to be heavy. The game has changed so much, and there's good reason why it's changed. But we also see that there are running backs that have a lot of value and continue to be featured. One of the things I talked about when you look at like people all-purpose yards and touches, you start to do that. You see running backs; those running backs are up the list, and you say, okay, they platooning people, they doing this, but there are running backs, so they've So when you see some of these running backs beginning to try to market themselves also as receivers, I understand it now. You know they're changing. They're trying to change their market value because of the way people are defining them in the game. And so now we got a new breed of running backs coming through. Who do you have on your top 5 list?
I got number 1 Travis Etienne, number 2 Najee Harris, number 3 Javonte Williams, number 4 Trey Sermon, and number 5 Michael Carter. So number 1 Travis Etienne, he almost needs no explanation. The work he has put in over the last 3 years or so at Clemson. Oh, 4. He stayed. Did he stay a 4th year? Or
4 year.
I think he's a 4-year player. So the tape that he put on over the last 4 years at Clemson, he's a one-cut guy, and he has exceptional speed. If he gets past that first line, it could be curtains for you. And like you said, you got to be versatile in this game. And he's a guy that you can throw swings to. He's really worked on that side of his game. I heard in an interview with Amari Rogers that when Travis Etienne first got to Clemson, he really couldn't catch it all. But he really worked on it day after day, night after night, trying to add that to his game. And now they trust him on those swing passes, you know what I'm saying, on those screens and stuff like that. They trust him to go out and catch the ball. So he's number 1. Number 2, Najee Harris. He's not too far behind at all. When I watch him play, he reminds me a lot of Le'Veon Bell. Like when I first saw it, like when it first clicked for me, I just can't unsee it. Like every time I see Najee Harris play, I just see Le'Veon Bell because they almost move the same. They have the same kind of stuff, the way they set up their blocks, the patience that they have when they run the ball. They can catch the ball at the backfield. They can run routes as well. So he is very valuable. You got Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams is he's a great back for North Carolina. He got his teammate on here as well, Michael Carter. He's a smaller guy. He's a smaller guy, kind of in the vein of a Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He might not be as shifty as Helaire was last year, but he can put a move on you in an open field, and if you come in soft, he can lower that shoulder on you. And number 4, you got Trey Sermon from Ohio State. He is a guy that's not going to blow you away in any of the combine numbers, but he's one of those guys, he just knows how to play football. You watch him play, and he has good vision, and he has great contact balance. Like, he gets hit, and it's the first guy, as long as he's going off tackle and stuff like that, the first guy, he's not going to bring him down. He has good balance. He's able to kind of keep himself up and keep turning, keep those legs moving, and he always falls forward. That's one thing I love in running backs. So that's my 5.
Yeah, you got 2 Carolina backs. It was telling Mac is doing his thing, and, and that's that first sign of program developing. Running backs again is a place where a lot of people are saying you can find value and why they always wait. And so obviously there's some other players that that you want to consider.
You got guys like Ramondre Stevenson, Khalil Herbert. You got guys like Kylan Hill, Chuba Hubbard, Jared Patterson. You got guys all over the place, man. So yeah, you can get value at running back later on, but I'm not gonna knock you for picking Najee Harris or Etienne early on. Maybe not, top 15, maybe not like that, but early second round, late first, I can see it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna hope my Steelers get one of them because they need that running game to go. And so Harris will look great in a Steeler uniform. We're at RSG Live with Darnell's top 5 list. This has been good. Like I said, go to realsportsguys.com or go to our Real Sports social media. You'll be able to see there in the feed the list that he has for the guys on the defensive side of the ball. It's a great list, great show. Make sure you go check that out along with other content we got going on Real Sports Guys as well. So now, we're going to quarterback. We done heard Stephen A go off. We done heard everybody go off. A lot of debate, people shifting around, all kinds of historical biases coming in. And so we want to understand what's going to happen. Is Darnell going to set the record straight? What's your top 5 for quarterbacks?
My top 5 should be a surprise to a lot of people. Number 1, Trevor Lawrence. Number 2, Justin Fields. Number 3, Zach Wilson. Number 4, Mac Jones. And number 5, Trey Lance. So you got Trevor Lawrence in there. He's a guy. He gives it to you in all the aspects of the game. Like he's great in the quick game. He has a great deep ball. He has good accuracy on his intermediate routes. On those kind of throws, and he's good with the timing stuff. And also, you can use him in the running game as well. We've seen him in the read option kind of stuff. We've seen him do the RPOs and all that kind of stuff. So, Trevor Lawrence, he checks all the boxes to me. Number 2, Justin Fields. He's not too far behind him, in my opinion. But the difference there is decision making, man. In my opinion, Justin Fields is the most talented quarterback in this draft. But what separates him, that next step he has to take is making the right decisions. Checking the ball down sometimes. You don't always have to hit the home run, stuff like that. But yeah, he's my number 2. Zach Wilson, another very talented guy. He makes plays from all angles. You know what I'm saying? He can extend the plays out. Has a cannon for an arm. He can make all the throws. So he's my number 3. Mac Jones, number 4. The quintessential old school quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Mac Jones, he's really accurate on the intermediate throws. He can run the quick game for you. And now in today's game, the direction the game is going is the horizontal spacing. It's not always about the vertical spacing, throwing it deep. I know taking the top off the defense is always going to be important. But what Mac Jones does in the quick game, he makes his reads extremely fast. He seems like he's going to make the right decision more often than not. And that's why I have Mac Jones at 4, Trey Lance at 5, another very talented player. He's played at North Dakota State, which has a really good coaching staff. I have no doubt that he's been coached well. He's also being coached by Quincy Avery, his quarterback coach, another talented young coach. North Dakota State is pretty much the Alabama of the FCS and those smaller schools over there. But I just haven't seen him against the top competition. I don't know how he's going to react when he sees it, and his accuracy isn't. I don't think isn't on par with other guys on this list. But you know what? He's a guy like Caleb Farley from yesterday. He's a guy that in a couple of years we could be looking at Trey Lance as being the best quarterback in this class. He could be number 2 as well. It just depends on his development. I think he still has some developing to do. But when that happens, if he gets with the right team, the right coach, he can the sky's the limit.
Yeah. I think one of the earlier things you said about Trevor Lawrence, I think one of the things that people don't his mobility, right, to get around along with all those other attributes, make him exceptional. And I think with Justin Fields, I think you hit it on there as well. That being able, you and I talked a little bit about that when my biggest thing was like getting him to make some of those intermediate throws. And I think I got what you said is a lot of decision making. It's not
he can make every throw in the
He can make every throw. It's when you have the kind of talent he has a lot of trust to receivers.
Yeah.
And that he fulfills that trust by giving them a chance to get it, which is and I don't know if that's decision making as much as he's got great receivers, a lot of guys like that, and he just trusts them to make a play, and a lot of times they do. There comes those games like Indiana where.
But some of these decisions are kind of head scratchers. I remember telling you at the Northwestern game, Justin Fields would be the greatest Madden quarterback of all time. Like he's a guy that he has all the attributes. I feel like if I was controlling Justin Fields, we would never lose a game. We would never lose. But sometimes he makes some decisions. We're just like, what were you seeing there? But Yeah, I think that could be coached out of him though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are things that can be coached out, and it's at a high
Right.
level. So
You've seen both.
we're
Yeah.
seeing,
Right.
yeah, I mean, he's doing this stuff under pressure. He's doing this stuff and he's
Yeah.
delivering more times than he doesn't. So it's like, Brett Favre threw a lot of interceptions,
Yeah.
had head scratchers, but Brett Favre knew to make enough plays to win enough games. And so if that's just what people getting judged on, there are a lot of quarterbacks who did that for a long time who won at a high level, and a lot of it's just they got somewhat belief. And sometimes you got to get them to understand that they got to be like a boxer sometimes. Can't go for a home run. Sometimes you got to touch them a little bit. Sometimes you got to change the speed on that punch. Sometimes you got to set them up for the bolo. You ain't got to don't let them just see the hook coming. Set them up for it, and it's the setup. It's not that you can't do it. Sometimes they want to put them right through the dang back door. He want to knock them out, never to get up again. And the game doesn't work like that. But he doesn't do that often.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say next. We've seen both sides of it. We've seen him play the hero ball in some games, but then other games like the game against Clemson, we've seen him make full field reads.
Yeah.
He didn't throw to his second read, he threw to his fourth read.
Yeah.
We've seen him go through all the progressions. We've seen him make all the throws. We've seen him throw the ball 50 yards in the air with a hit pointer. I mean, he can do everything you would ask of him.
Yeah.
You just got to make sure you got that consistency, and that's another thing. Coaching and it's just time. You know what I'm saying? It's going to go by with time and experience.
Yep. Who else did you have on that list in the quarterback side?
Man, with quarterbacks, it's interesting because the quarterbacks are. I don't think the quarterbacks are as deep. I don't think the quarterbacks are as deep. Like you have the Fab Five, I guess you could say. Kellen Mond could be a project. Davis Mills is interesting because he's accurate, and he could be a good backup in the league. I can see Davis Mills being a good backup. Kyle Trask is. I don't know about that one. Sam Ellinger, no. Jamie Newman's an interesting project. I don't know if you can say project because he's a redshirt senior, but the things he can make those down the field throws. He has a strong arm. You can make him into something. But
the guy I like that he just got a winning part about him is Ian Book.
Yeah,
he's
as well.
He's one of those quarterbacks that you get in the right system, you just know how to win. And he's the kind of guy that could rally folks around him. He just seems to make plays, right? And he might not wow you in this or that, but he knows how to make play. He's a football player.
Sam Ellinger's like that too.
Yeah, I think Sam's like that, but Sam got the I'm going to run through the wall unnecessarily sometimes. Sam got some Teddy Pendergrass in him. You got what I need. Like he'll bang with you, which you got a lot of heart. It's not quite Favre-ish in a way, but Sam be trying to run folks over. And Book got some of that. Book makes plays. Sam makes plays, but Sam, he want to run through you. At the next level, that running through you might send you out for 2 or 3 weeks. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That guys ain't going to move out the way in ways that them college boys might have moved. Sam always felt like he has some physical play to him that plays well, but I'm not sure how well. Again, he a tough kid, but I think it feels like he's a little bit different than Ian Book in a way, but they got some similarities. That's why those are kind of cats that might end up being steals, right? Yeah. Got a competitiveness. They just need to be in the right system. They had to be part of building and leading in such a way. They had a lot on their shoulders in ways that some of these other quarterbacks may not have had. They had to handle a lot because, they had talent, but they weren't the level of talent that some of these other quarterbacks play with. Not to say that these other quarterbacks are good because of the talent, but there might be some things that might be exposed about them in the pros, playing in that a system a little bit different. So, those two are pretty interesting. There's a drop-off, but I wouldn't be surprised if one of these other quarterbacks rose up because they got in the right system in that part. So I think you're right. You're right on here. All right, RSG Live here. We got Darnell's top 5. It's feeling good. up here. You know, he's killing it. You know, you got to go to our RSG Real Sports Guys and our social media platforms, as well as go to realsportsguys.com, and you'll see the defensive side of the ball. Right now in the offense, we've got the linemen. We went and did the running backs. We got the quarterbacks, and now we go into what has become one of my things I've always said, even though I enjoy this group we're about to talk about. But what I've said about every team, and I think Darnell could probably respect it, if the people who are farthest from the ball are saying so much for you, are the leaders in your locker room, your football team may be in trouble. And so these are guys that are not only great, they can help you, but as we've also seen, they kind of be the guys that can also hurt you. So there's a lot to going in to talk about top receivers, because there's a lot that come along with it. You know, they're not everybody's an Andre Johnson. Not everybody's, you know, comes to the room with that kind of personality. You know, but you have the great ones like T.O. who might be misunderstood. You got the Ocho Cincos. You got the Jerry Rices. They come in a lot of different flavors. And but this group has become very important in today's game. You know, the receiving core, because of the way the game is run, the way that you put it together is you can be very versatile about it. And I think Darnell's list reflects the versatility that's been developed in today's game. And so your top 5 wide receivers for this draft.
First of all, this is the hardest one to do because this year, I don't think there's a top 5. I think we got a 1A, a 1B, a 1C, and a 1D. Because all of these guys are dominant at what they do, except they're all different. They all do it in different ways. You have the guy I have at number 1, Jamar Chase. He's the ultimate contested catch guy. I said last year he reminds me a lot of Larry Fitzgerald, the way that he uses his body and the way that he is able to always come down with the ball. He's a strong-handed dude, very sure-handed dude. So if it's a 50-50 ball, it's not a 50-50 ball. It's really an 80-20 ball when it's Jamar Chase. Number 2 or 1B, you got Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is he's a guy, he doesn't have a comp. Like you say, who is Kyle Pitts' comp? Who does he? He's LeBron. He's LeBron James. If LeBron James decided he was going to continue playing football, he would be like that. He's 6'6". I know LeBron is 6'8", but he's 6'6". But he runs a 4.46 at like 240 something pounds, 250 pounds almost. But he's a exceptional athlete. He has the nuances of the receiver almost, and he's a matchup nightmare. You can put it that way. 1C, we have a route runner in the group, and that guy is Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith is a guy that he reminds me a lot of Marvin Harrison, a lot of Torrey Holt, the best of the best route runners to play the game. And he might not be the biggest guy, might not be the strongest guy, but he doesn't play like he weighs. You know what I'm saying? He has releases where he can get off on guys, and I know everybody's gonna say in the NFL is different. That these corners are big, these corners are strong, but he's played against corners that are going to play in the league and already are playing in the league right now. He's played against AJ Terrell. He's played against J.C. Horn. He's played against Derek Stingley Jr. He's played against who's my guy from he's played against all the Georgia guys. He played against pretty much he played against C.J. Henderson. That's definitely my thing. C.J. Henderson, who was one of the better cornerbacks that came out last year. He's played against the gauntlet that you would see in the SEC, and of course the gauntlet that you would see in the college football playoff. Because the best teams are going to have the best players for the most part, and he's going against all those guys. And these guys, if you look at a guy like J.C. Horn, he doesn't leave anything to be desired in the aspect of size. You know what I'm saying? And especially physicality. I mean, if anybody's going to be physical with you, it's going to be J.C. Horn. I mean, and he took that matchup head on, and of course you can't neglect the the wars they had in practice, because in practice you always got to go against Patrick Surtain, and what they say, iron sharpens iron. So I have no question about Devontae Smith's ability to succeed on the next level. 1D or 4 on my list is Jalen Waddle. He is need for speed. He is the burner of the group. He's the guy. He's going to take the top off the defense. Nobody on your team is going to be able to run with him. He's that special, and he's not one of those guys that. He's one of those guys that's a track guy that decided to play football. No, he's a football player that happens to have track speed. He can still run routes. He's a tough, physical guy. We saw him play in the national championship game when everybody and their mama know he had no business being out there. But he has that kind of toughness, that kind of love for the game. And for those reasons, I have no doubts about Jalen Waddle as well. And number 5, we got Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore is one of my favorite receivers. It seems like I have like 10 favorite receivers in this draft because receivers are so deep in this draft. But Elijah Moore is another smaller guy, 5'8", but he's real strong for his size. He's really strong, and he's another route runner. He can run every route in the route tree, and he has the nuances to the game. And if you watch his tape, you're going to be impressed. You won't be sorry about it. So that's my top 5.
So as he said, he couldn't just do it that way. He had to give you 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, and 1E, and that's what we did on here. He couldn't even give you the top 5. Darnell, this is the first time probably in his list history. We just gonna go 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, and 1E up here. But there might be a 1F, there might be a 2F, there might be A. Who are some other folks that folks need to pay attention to?
You need to pay attention to Terrace Marshall, Rondale Moore, De'Ami Brown. You got guys like Dwayne Eskridge. You got guys like Tylan Wallace, Amari Rogers, Jalen Darden. You got guys all over the place, and they come from everywhere. You got Kadarius Toney out there, the human joystick, Rashad Bateman out of Minnesota. I mean, receiver is going to be deep this year.
Some of those other guys, you would be surprised if they're rookie of the year candidates. Some of those other guys, got some cats over there with the right team who could be, a rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year candidate in some of those other receivers. So it's going to be deep. And this is why we talked about how important it is for GMs to do their homework to find the fit, because there's talent to be. If Green Bay goes to this draft and gonna get Aaron Rodgers somebody got to go to jail. We gonna call the Attorney General for the state of Wisconsin and say that somebody need to do an investigation. If Aaron Rodgers should get like 2 receivers out of this draft. They should be like Matt Millen. This year, Green Bay should be like Matt Millen. Receiver. How do you feel about this, man? We're on the offensive side of the ball. That means we didn't do special teams, but that's all right.
The kickers. I know they're gonna say kickers need love too, but now I don't know about that. I ain't out here scouting kickers. I'm sorry.
We're about to. They hurt your feelings too much over the years. That's okay. We'll find love for them at some point. Well, this has been good, y'all. This is Darnell's top 5 list. We have offense and defense now in the books for this year. We'll be able to come back and look at this next year and see how these folks are doing. Maybe in the next couple of years, we'll give a chance to mature to see how some of these folks who have made the list have done, and even some of those folks who are just outside the list. All right, until next time, please, again, go check us out at Real Sports Guys. Check us out on all social media platforms. You can get Darnell at Kirkland Darnell to get his RSG count. And then you can catch him all other space on Twitter as well. But if you have anything you got to say or you want to provide some feedback on his list, he's definitely there. But you better come strong because Darnell going to try and come right back because his saw has been sharpened by the hammer. If you can debate with hammer, you can debate with anybody. His saw is sharp now. Y'all got to know that for all those listeners.
Yeah, he'll say anything and everything. And some of it, he would say stuff that got nothing to do with the point that you said. I mean, you gotta.
Darnell is like a pound for pound UFC champion who in his training camp had to go against all the top people. And we brought Hampton in to fight him in the last couple rounds of his training camp. He tried to figure four leg lock him. He tried to choke him out. He got through all them submissions and still stood up with the championship. So that's Hammer. He gonna come everything at you, confuse you, and Darnell made it to that gauntlet. So if you're gonna come with it, you better come with it. All right. Till next time, y'all see you on the other side. This is from D. Wilson from Darnell Kirkland Jr. Peace out. See you on the other side.
See you.